Thank you for, let me echo what the governor said, and thank you not only for hosting us, but thanks for those jobs in Southside Virginia. As many of you know, this is something that the governor and I think most all of our governors have always said that one of the opportunities we have here in Virginia is we've got a great Commonwealth, not just here in Northern Virginia, but all across Virginia, and we've got to make sure that talent is put to work everywhere. And I don't know if I see Donna Maria here who acted on that. Absolutely. I also got to give a shout out to Russell County for her activities there as well. Let me also say how much I've enjoyed and continue to enjoy working with the governor. You know, Governor served our country as in the military as a veteran. We worked together when he was in the legislature and I was governor. We work together now. I call him a real friend and a great Virginian. And it's great to be with you this morning. And let me also give a special shout out again to Bobby Gilberg. I know this gets a little repetitive, Bobby. I know you just hate hearing this, but and to all of NVTC for this initiative. And I want to take a moment, though, and thank you one more time for a similar kind of entrepreneurial, proactive effort where you all partnered on another problem we faced a couple years back when it came to all of our attention of the kind of, let's face it, outrageous behavior that was taking place at Arlington National Cemetery, where we lay our nation's heroes to final rest, and the fact that there was enormous problems. I think we all read with disbelief about some of the problems of mismanagement at Arlington Cemetery. Governor, my dad's a World War II Marine and lives up in Connecticut. He will put up with most stuff that goes on in Washington, but man, he was pissed off when he read about the stories out of Arlington. And, the Army could not get its act together, quite honestly, on how to fix this. And so we went to NVTC and said, will you all step up and in a pro bono way, many of you in this room, many of you who are participating in this initiative, stepped up on that effort. And while it took us 6 months to get the Army to actually accept those offers of help, it really was the NVTC template model that came in and fixed the data processing problem that was really behind some of that mismanagement. So again, thanks to your efforts. Governor, I do want to also make mention, you went through the litany of things that your administration is doing, and there was one other that I'm working on with you all too that is, I see my good friend Eva Hardy here, which is troops to energy. So we've got troops to trucks, we've got troops in other areas, but we also have enormous opportunities to work with Dominion and all our various utility companies to get troops veterans into that field as well. The governor, I think, pointed out, and I'm going to reiterate some of this, why it's important to hire veterans and so many of the good things that are happening. I think we also have to acknowledge that we've got work to do in this area. I think one of the things about conflicts right now, with all the challenges we've got in our country, regardless of what anybody may feel about how we got into the conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, the one thing that's good right now is that all Americans support the service and contributions that our veterans made in those conflicts. And I know as the governor I saw as governor, not only the burdens on our active duty forces, but the burdens on our guard that would have the repeated deployments time after time, and the kind of stress that puts on them and the lack of support oftentimes in local communities for those repeated deployments. And while we say we all want to support our veterans, the unfortunate thing is that if you really look at the data, veterans unemployment is higher than non-veterans unemployment. The lack of ability of many veterans to transition back into civilian society is a real challenge. And the challenge is, as I think General Petraeus was working on this, the level of veteran suicides now is at an all-time high. We actually have lost more veterans from suicide in the last year than had been lost in all of the Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts over their decade. So, one of the things that I think is incumbent upon us is to do more than, we all say we want to salute our veterans, but we need to turn those words into action. And again, what you all are doing here with this initiative is doing that. I want to give a special shout out as well to Monster.com. We've partnered, my office has partnered with Monster on a number of job fairs around the Commonwealth, and they do a great job. And what this partnership is allowing is for NVTC to partner with Monster. Monster's got over 800,000 veterans who are kind of listed through their military.com site. And one of the things that is incredibly important in this initiative that, again, we need to do some more work on is you've got these wonderful young men and women who learn these incredible skills, but the way the military defines skill sets versus the way the civilian community defines skill sets are two different sets of language. And so what is part of this initiative is through this military translator, the ability for the veteran to understand what his or her skills, how they can talk about those skills in a way that will be comprehensible to a civilian employee. And that is enormously valuable. Actually, Tim Kaine and I are working on legislation to try to make sure that there's more alignment between military certification of a skill and industry certification. There's no reason if you're a trucker, an electrician, or a medical technician, you ought to go back and have to go get recertified for the exact skills you've already learned in the military. Second thing that I think that this initiative does beyond this linkage is that there is a mentoring program. A number of these men and women, if we look at the amount of post-traumatic stress disorders that are taking place with our military, I know Terry, you have worked on that with efforts in our office as well. You know, the incidence is quite high. Many of these men and women come back not only with physical injuries but other injuries that make this transition back to civilian life more difficult. So the fact that those 160 plus companies, and hopefully our goal today will move that 160 up to closer to the full 1,100 technology companies that are part of the NVTC, but that mentoring ability to try to say, all right, how do we get that veteran through the rough spot to make sure that we're not only getting these veterans hired but retained is, I think, incredibly important as well. So I simply want to add my comments to the governor's comments, supporting NVTC, Sudhakar, and your board, but particularly all of the companies who stepped up. You know, this is really putting your money, your energy where your mouth is in terms of our commitment to these men and women who keep us safe. So my final call to action is if you're a veteran or you know a vet, particularly a vet who may be returning recently or getting out of the service recently, get them into this site, get them into this program. If you're a company and you want to show a way that you can step up and do the right thing, and not only do the right thing for your community and your country, but as the governor said, do the right thing for your company, because these men and women come with enormous amounts of skills, enormous amounts of knowledge, the ability to get a project done and done in an efficient and effective way. Make sure that you participate. So with that, I want to thank all of you for getting the job done. Again, my kudos to NVTC for once more being willing to step up and be part of the community. This is the tech community, and as a proud former tech guy myself, you know, this is the community that drives Northern Virginia's economy. Northern Virginia's economy is still the economy that drives all of the Commonwealth's economy, and this is one more example of the kind of leadership that's going to continue to take Virginia as a leader not only in the nation but in the world. Thank you so much.